Hello everyone. My greetings to one and all. I am Poonam Vohra from Microeconomics Learning Center. Continuing further with the third unit, that is producers' behavior and supply. From now onwards, the discussion will be on its next subunit, that is cost analysis. In order to produce a desired level of output, the producer needs to employ not one but many inputs. So there can be various combination of inputs that can be employed. The question is, out of various combinations, which particular combination the producer should have to produce a desired level of output? Obviously, having profit maximization in mind, every producer would like to have that combination which provides minimum possible cost. So to understand the relationship between output and cost, one has to be clear about various types of costs that are incurred. So from now onwards, cost analysis will be discussed, and these various costs are explained through various chapters. Like this session would give an overview of the costs involved. Next session would discuss total fixed cost. Then chapter 3 is on total variable cost. Then total cost. Similarly, there would be a different session on average fixed cost. Next, average variable cost. Then average cost. And then marginal cost will be discussed. Finally, the last session would be on relationship between various costs will be discussed. So let us begin with today's session, which provides an overall view of various costs. Let us begin. Let's think of a hotel and costs involved in its operation. In a hotel, costs depends upon the occupancy of rooms. If say 80% of the rooms are occupied, cost involved would be much higher in comparison to a situation where only say 30% of the rooms are occupied. So one then thinks, what are the costs that increase with increase in occupancy and decrease with decrease in occupancy? Or are there any costs? There are few more costs, like costs incurred on purchase of a land or a building, or making tax payments to government. Then wages and salaries are paid to the employees. Cost may be incurred on outsourcing various services like security services, which are on contract basis. Then maintenance contract may be given in order to maintain various equipment, machineries, building, and so on. There may be fixed internet plans on which cost is incurred. Obviously, one needs to include reservation expenses. All these costs do not vary with varying rate of occupancy. These costs are supposed to be incurred when there is high occupancy, low occupancy, or no occupancy. So all these costs are hence unaffected with the rate of occupancy, or these are fixed costs. In this unit, you will understand the concepts of explicit and implicit cost and normal profit. You will be able to differentiate between fixed and variable costs, logically establish the behavior of total fixed and total variable cost, you will be in a position to establish the relationship between total fixed, total variable and total cost. And finally, we'll be able to represent and explain their relationship graphically. Let us understand more about cost of producing a good. Cost of producing a good is the sum of all direct expenditures and indirect expenditures, where direct expenditures include actual purchases made, that is raw material, etc., or hiring factors of production like labor. Indirect expenditure include the estimated value of inputs. That is, if any building is owned by the entrepreneur himself, the rent which is paid to himself, that is imputed rent, is considered as indirect expenditure. Direct expenditures are also called as explicit cost, whereas indirect expenditure is also termed as implicit cost. Apart from explicit and implicit cost, the producer must get a minimum amount of profit in the long run to continue to produce the given good, which is termed as normal profit. So, the sum of explicit cost, implicit cost, and normal profit is called economic cost, which is the cost of producing a good. Economic costs is subdivided into fixed cost and variable costs. Fixed costs are the costs which do not change with change in output of a good. These are incurred on fixed factors of production. Fixed costs are never zero, whether there is low production or no production. They are also known as overhead costs, period costs, or supplementary costs. Fixed costs are always positive and remain constant for a specific period and are often time related. A firm in the short run can continue production if fixed costs are not met. For example, rent, monthly salary of the permanent staff, payment of interest, license fee, and so on. These costs need to be incurred whether there is production or no production. So far as variable costs are concerned, these are the costs which changes with change in the output of a good and are incurred on variable factors of production. Variable costs vary directly with output. It is zero when output is zero. As the level of output increases, variable cost also increases. In the short run, firms shut down production if variable costs are not met. They are also termed as prime cost or direct costs. Variable costs are incurred on payment made to the casual workers, which increase or decrease depending upon the output. Expenditure incurred on fuel, on raw material, electricity, gas, water, and so on, as all these costs vary with the level of output. Let us understand the broad framework, but before that, a simple fact that there is no cost which is always a fixed cost or a variable cost. An item of variable cost in one set of condition may become fixed cost in another set of condition or vice versa. That is, for example, rent. It's a fixed cost only so long as another building is not hired. If another building is hired, the cost incurred on rent rises and it becomes variable cost. So the time period are distinguished as short run and long run. Short run is a period in which increase in supply is possible up to a given capacity of output. And the output can be increased only by increasing the variable factor. And in terms of cost, variable cost increases. So short run is a period where there are certain costs which are fixed and certain other costs which are variable. Focusing on short-run costs, these can be total cost, which is either total fixed cost or total variable cost. From total cost, one can find average cost, which is either average fixed cost or average variable cost, and then one can find marginal cost, which is either a summation of total variable cost, but one has to keep note of the fact that summation of marginal cost is not equal to average cost. That means there is fixed cost which does not affect marginal cost. We shall discuss all these costs in the next few sessions. I hope you have a fair idea of an overview of the costs involved. You can try and visualize cost involved in your own education, cost involved in running your own house, cost involved in running an educational institution, cost involved in running a shop or a business or an industry. By having such exercises, you will have a clear understanding of what are the costs that needs to be incurred and are important, and what are the costs that can be postponed or not required at all. So with this exercise, I wish you all the best, and the session comes to an end. Next session, the focus would be on total fixed cost.